What's up, guys? Welcome back. Before we start, please subscribe to my show. Would really appreciate a lot of love and appreciation for the shows I've been making. So today we're gonna mix it up a little. We've been talking about football, and since football has kind of gone on a hold, there's the rookie mini camps. I decided to kind of go a little bit different. Right now, there's the NBA playoffs, and it's pretty freaking exciting, especially without LeBron James. Yes, I said that. No, LeBron James, an amazing freaking NBA playoffs. But one thing that kind of stood out to me was Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith is a freaking amazing, analyst. Like, he really speaks from his heart. He really says what is on his mind. I really love it. Doesn't really have a filter at times, gets in trouble for it. I just love his energy. I love it and then I also love him because sometimes he's just wrong, and I don't agree with him on a lot of areas. Maybe not wrong, I just don't agree with them. But he brings up topics that are so controversial, and you love to debate about it. And one thing he says, a tweet that he posted, was that Kevin Durant is the best player in basketball, and the best player in the world. And although I agree that, I agree in some parts, I feel like Kevin Durant is a good basketball player. I think he can dominate a game. I think he is one of the top basketball players in the world right now. He's just unstoppable, just with his frame, his height, and can shoot anywhere on the court, and can drive the ball. He's just amazing. He's spectacular. He scored over 40 points, a couple games this, in the postseason, and really, Golden State has won, championships because he's on that team. He, the Warriors were good, but now they're great with him because he takes them to the extra level. When Curry's not doing well, when Thompson's not doing well, you can always rely on Durant. And he just brings an extra power. Yeah, it was kind of really kind of lame that he joined the Warriors, but hey, he wanted titles, so he did it. But do I think he's the best player in the world? I mean, let's think about it from another perspective. The man has Steph Curry. Okay, let's just put it right there. Steph Curry is an unbelievable player, can really dominate a game with his shots, drive into the hole, and he can shoot from anywhere. Then you got Klay Thompson, who is another great shooter who doesn't get all the credit he deserves, and that's because he's playing behind Curry and Thompson, and Curry and Durant. And then you got Draymond Green, who's an absolute beast, fighter, will fight to the death with you, who really aggressive. It's just I love his play, and I love his cockiness, and he brings another aspect to the game. And Warriors are pretty stacked, and so when you're talking about Durant and what he's done so far, you got to understand that players worry about Curry, worry about Thompson, worry about Green. They're worried about a lot of players. So Durant is not going to get the double team that he should all the time. He's basically going to be one-on-one until he drives to the hoop. He's not going to get a lot of, people have to worry about the Warriors so much. So to say he's the best player in the world, especially in the Warriors team, that's kind of, I don't agree with that. I don't think he's the best player in the world. I think he's a good player in a great team, and I think because he's on a great team, it allows him to look like he's a great player because of all the basketball, all the points that he scores, and all the, he is clutch at times. He makes some clutch throws, but when you compare him to guys like Kawhi Leonard, right, who really, Toronto was already a good team, but he took him to an extra level. Instead of getting beaten in the first round, he's now taking them to to an extent to where they're almost to the semis, and maybe might even be to the finals. When comparing, I personally think Kawhi Leonard is the best player in the world. And I'll tell you why. Because he's taking, if you saw yesterday's game, he Sixers had their chance to just totally end it, but he took that game and he just, the last three-pointer in the game, he finished the Sixers. He's just like, you know what? You guys are done. Boom. He just took him out of the game, and that's what he does. And guess what? Who does he have on his, the starting lineup with them that's even comparable to maybe even Livingston, who's like a backup? And I'll let you think about it for a second. Exactly. You can't really think about anyone comes anywhere close to maybe Klay Thompson, even Livingston, who's a good player, but he's a backup. He's comes off the bench for the Warriors. And so Stephen A like comes with emotion, doesn't really think about, the stats and everything. If you want to think about stats, Durant, has scored about 35 points per game in the playoffs, while Leonard has scored about 32 points per game. But let's even get even more in depth. Kawhi's Leonard has scored about, let's see, 32% of the Raptors' points per game. So he's 32%, while Durant's 29. And the reason I show those stats is because I want to show you that these players are pretty much alike, and they perform at a high level, but they do, Durant does it with higher talent, a lot of talent, and Leonard doesn't do it without talent. And guess what? They both seem to find ways to win. And so when you're trying to, people forget about Leonard, and at times, that's okay. You think about it like, okay, Durant, he's on the Warriors. They're probably going to win another championship, blah, blah, blah. And they score a lot of points. They're the most exciting team. So you think about Durant and the Warriors. But Leonard, they don't score a lot of points. They score an average of 101 points per game, while the Warriors score about 121 points per game. They're probably way more exciting to watch than the Raptors. And so that's why we, in our minds, we love excitement. We love, a lot of points, a lot of drama, and that's what Warriors bring. And so we're so fixated, and I think Stephen A gets so fixated on who's going crazy, who's scoring a lot of points, but he doesn't really think about who's actually the most impactful player on that team, who takes that team to even bigger level and a whole nother level compared to where they were before. And when you want to compare the two, Leonard has taken the Raptors to a whole new level, whereas Durant, he's taking them. Warriors are already a championship team. He just there's still a championship team with them. Yeah, you can say they're unstoppable. Yeah, of course they're unstoppable. If you put Leonard there, I would probably bet my whole savings account on that team. So that's what I really say, what I gotta really say. I think both players are great. I think they're phenomenal. Do I think if you switch Leonard and Durant, do I think the Raptors would be as good? I would say no, because at the end of the day, Leonard is a whole new player, and he's just a very special player that can take over a game with or without great players around him. Whereas Durant, we saw him with Westbrook. He just got to a level. He just kind of like Harden gets to the playoffs and then just gets stuck and then just can't. He can't get over a hump without greatness around him. Whereas I think Leonard can do it without any great player. So that's my little bit. Hope you guys liked it. Sorry it's not about football, but just thought I'd change it around. Take care. Have a good night.